Hello. Today I'd like to talk about Haruki Murakami's Sputnik Sweetheart. This is one of the first book I read when I started to read Haruki Murakami, and probably third or fourth book. I really liked this particular book. It's rather short book, and I think subject matter is very light. You know, this particular young girl, young woman, I think Sumire, her name is Sumire, is aspiring a writer, right? Okay, so that's Murakami's world. You know, the person who is aspired to become a writer, and it's as Murakami himself, right? Okay, so that's kind of a intellectual and very interesting to me. And then she had this older lady friend. I think I forgot her name. And this particular individual, and of course there is a man also there. I think it's more or less like a man was like a side character. So I don't see many his actions there. But you know, Sumire and this old lady has like a intertwined relationship, and one of the things that I would say Murakami is so fond is this magical, reality, magical realism, and this one is a very typical, I think, magical realism. And I was taken when I was reading this particular book. I know this one is a little bit far off. It's like a fantasy or something. But when it happens, it's very realistic and it's very astoundingly realistic, I would say. And wow, this world that he can create is, there's so much. I never read this type of thing before, right? So usually, I don't like a fantasy to begin with, because always, like the story is like for kids. They believe everything is fantasy. I couldn't get into it. Like Star Wars, for example. 1976, the year I came to US, and I saw the first Star Wars, because everybody's talking about Star Wars, and I dismissed immediately. First few minutes, they bum 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 bum, and oh gosh, I don't like it. And ever since then, I never was a Star Wars fan. Even today, I don't like this, sequels or anything. But I watched, right? Because everybody's, watching this movie, and I watched. But I couldn't get into E.T. I couldn't get into it, and any Steven Spielberg movie except his most realistic, like E.T.'s and so forth. I couldn't get into it, except that his Spielberg's older film, like a Schindler's List, I liked, and Color Purple, I liked, and but still, I couldn't get into the fantasy film at all, and I hate it actually, right? But this one is different from those fantasy. It's like a very realistic. It's a it's almost like you see it as a real, and that particular power of this book is, I think, extraordinary. I would say extraordinary because I myself, like an adult reading this book, and I was taken. So for that, I love Haruki Murakami to begin with, and anticipate another great, magical realism fictions in future. and I don't dismiss any of his books. Every one of them, it's very, very readable, very interesting, and this very surprising effects on me that flabbergasted, or something like a wow moment there. And so I kind of recommend all his book, and the Sputnik is not the exception. It's a typical example of Murakami. So this is few cents today, and I think this is the last one of the Murakami's books review. Because all the books I read, it's a while ago, and my memory is fading, and but before my memory completely fades, I still have a vivid memory, right? So maybe I should leave this type of my memory stuff to this video. Thank you for watching.